Arabia, a land where water is scarce. Animals struggle to survive. The desert mountains conceal a rare waterhole, a wadi, a lifeline to those that endure the inhospitable heat. But animals seeking respite here are at the mercy of predators. Lightning-fast snakes glide on water, hunting down their prey. Tarantulas and scorpions stalk the shadows. And hungry desert foxes prowl under the cover of darkness. These are the wonders of the wadi. Arabia is home to one of the largest continuous sand deserts on Earth. Vast tracts of sand dunes are broken in places by scorching gravel plains. Dramatic jagged mountains rise on its fringes. Temperatures can hit 54 degrees Celsius. The landscape lacks one vital ingredient for life: water. But seemingly dry river valleys are rare places where water can be found. Here in the mountains, the bedrock is hard enough to trap the little rain that falls, creating normally temporary, though sometimes permanent, pools of water. These pools are known locally as wadis, the Arabic word for valley. This wadi, dwarfed by barren rock faces and towering mountains, may not look like much, but this rare oasis offers a lifeline for wildlife. Toads are one of only a handful of animals that can exist here year-round. Unsurprisingly, amphibians are extremely rare in arid Arabia. Just 9 species are found here. Most are confined to the cooler coastal areas. The Arabian toad is the only species to have penetrated the drier interior. And it is entirely dependent on the wadi. The toad's sudden movement catches a predator's eye. A wadi racer is on the hunt. This deadly specialist lives up to its name. The 1.3-meter snake uses lightning speed to hunt in the pools. The racer produces a mild venom, but since it lacks fangs, it must chew on its prey for the toxin to penetrate its victim. Its favorite food is toad. The snake's vision is especially sensitive to movement. Each time the toad hops, the visual hunter draws closer. If the toad keeps perfectly still, the snake can't detect it. It is a battle of nerves. Incredibly, the snake's tongue seems unable to pinpoint its target, even at point-blank range. The toad's bravery pays off. The wadi lies in the mountains, rising along the east coast of the Arabian Peninsula. The Al Hajar mountain range stretches 500 kilometers from the United Arab Emirates in the north into the Sultanate of Oman in the south. With peaks of nearly 3,000 meters, these mountains have towered over Arabia's scorched plains for around 20 million years. The river valleys within them are exposed to both long periods of drought and sudden flash flooding. Despite the harsh terrain, animals eke out a living at every level. The king of the castle, found only in the high country, is one of the rarest animals in Arabia and the world. The Arabian tar. Fewer than 2,500 of these endangered animals remain. The Al Hajar Mountains are their last refuge. High above the wadi, there are few resources. Both soil and water run off these hills, leaving them bare and dry. The impervious rock makes it difficult for plants to take root. The barren slopes cannot support large herds of grazers, so tars are usually found in small family groups or on their own. This billy is tired of living by himself. It's time to find a mate. Sure-footed on the rocks, thanks to his compact rubbery hooves, he struts his stuff, presenting himself to any females who might be watching. His shoveling and head rubbing spread his scent. The churned soil is like a billboard, announcing that a vigorous billy goat is in residence. Already a nanny tar watches from afar. He will have to up his game if he's to win the female over. On the lower slopes, closer to the wadi, other rock climbing specialists make their living. Most geckos, like this fan-footed gecko, have microscopic hair-like structures on their feet and can grip even smooth vertical surfaces. This spacious rock gecko is also perfectly adapted to the steep walls around the wadi. It is endemic to Arabia and is found mostly in the United Arab Emirates and Oman. Another deadly threat lurks in the shadows. There are nearly 1,000 species of tarantula in the world. This one is brand new to science, so recently discovered that it hasn't been named yet. It's unique to the wadi systems of Arabia. This bulky female is turning her hideout in the rocks into a deadly trap. The tube-like spinnerets on her backside exude a gluey substance that hardens on contact with air to form very strong threads of silk. She uses the threads to line the inside of her chamber, to reinforce the walls and prevent collapse. But some of the lines of silk extend outside the burrow. Tripwires alerting her to anything that might stroll within striking distance. A grasshopper is a meaty meal. By tarantula standards, she is small. Her body is just 3 centimeters in diameter. But that will not stop her targeting prey her own size. An insect needs only to brush a tripwire, and it is game over. She dispatches her prey with the tarantula's trademark weapons, a huge pair of fangs leading to 2 venom glands. The fangs are jointed and can be moved like fingers to stab the victim and pull it closer to her mouth. She injects enzymes into the corpse that will begin digesting its insides, turning it into an insect smoothie. She sucks her victim dry and discards the empty shell. Darkness reaches the wadi early, its steep sides shaded from the setting sun. Night, and a little ultraviolet light reveals a deadly scorpion. Fluorescent compounds in his body armor produce the eerie color. Though just why it has evolved to glow in UV light is a mystery. Recent studies reveal that the fluorescence found in the scorpion shell acts as a full-body light sensor, with the tail being especially sensitive. Scorpions hide by day, away from harsh UV sunlight. But preliminary studies show that these arachnids are also less active during full moonlit nights. It may be that the fluorescing helps the scorpion determine the best time to hunt, when light levels are lowest. When it does hunt, tiny slits at the end of its legs can sense vibrations on the ground from anything moving within half a meter of them. Grasshoppers are a popular menu item around the wadi. The scorpion has sharp pincers for wrestling and dismembering prey. But it carries its main weapon aloft, a sting in the tail, coiled and ready to strike. It takes a fraction of a second for the needle-like tip to pump venom into its victim, if it can get close enough. Before the assassin can move in for the kill, another nocturnal hunter disturbs it. It's a Blandford's fox, a small, agile canine that emerges only at night. Sharp claws and rubbery feet act like sneakers to help him grip as he climbs the rocks around the wadi. His long tail provides a counterbalance. He will eat just about anything, from insects to desert plants. But it's small mammals he's really after. And they're likely to be close to water. Bats dash in to catch insects attracted to the water. But he's not likely to catch one of these. His large, sensitive ears detect some rustling. A spiny mouse. The rodent forages for seeds and grasses, feeling its way with its long whiskers. For the fox, it's a welcome snack. But he's not alone. An Arabian red fox is also on the prowl. No predator likes competition for food and will drive off or even kill a smaller rival. The Arabian red fox can be 3 or 4 times heavier than a 1.5 kilo Blandford's. The underdog decides not to risk a run-in and heads for higher ground. As the sun rises over the wadi, so too does the mercury. In summer, temperatures can hit 43 degrees. But the rising heat does not deter the male tar. This morning, he intensifies his mating campaign. The female relaxes in what little shade the scant vegetation provides. Try though he might, she just does not seem interested. The male cannot afford to relax. Scent glands at the base of his horns leave a smelly calling card. She does not look impressed. He raises his scent game further. He urinates on the ground, then flicks the pee into his fur. His body odor is loaded with testosterone. The hormone signals to the female that he's in his prime and ready to mate. Ramming the ground with his horns stirs up the scent. Glands on his face add to the aroma as he gives himself a pungent facial. This is goat cologne that the ladies will hopefully find hard to resist. But this female still seems uninterested. Her lackluster presence drives the frustrated male wild. For a finale, he goes in for some prancing. But it seems to have the opposite effect. He may be coming on too strong. Beneath the tar, on the valley floor, rare pools of water teem with life. Freshwater fish. Only 3 species survive in the Al Hajar Mountains, and this one is the Oman Gara. They endure only in isolated permanent pools of the wadi. These tiny fish get by scraping algae and any other detritus from the rock walls of their watery prison. Their survival depends on much-needed rainfall to replenish their shrinking refuge. But rain is unpredictable in Arabia. Some years it does not rain at all. Then some pools will dry up, and the fish in those will die. When the water of the wadi evaporates to nothing, the Arabian toad vanishes with it. But this is no permanent disappearing act. The toad buries itself in the mud and enters a state of torpor, like hibernation. It lowers its heart rate and metabolism to save energy and keep it safe until water returns. Remarkably, the toad can stay buried for up to 3 years. Little moisture penetrates Arabia's interior. But here, the high altitude of the mountains causes rare clouds to condense. The first drops of rain bring instant relief, tempting some of the residents from their dark crevices. The spacious rock gecko has a remarkable ability to repel water. Tiny hair-like spines all over its scales actively push liquid molecules away. They form bigger droplets that run off. It is a neat trick that helps to keep geckos clean and free from fungal infections. 80% of the water that falls in the mountains will evaporate. The rest quickly runs off the hard ground and into cracks in the rocks. Rain here in the Al Hajar Mountains is erratic and unreliable. A mere 15 centimeters falls each year, and it comes in only a few short, heavy bursts. The toads instinctively know that when water comes, it can come fast and furious. They scramble to higher ground to avoid being washed away. The rain runs off the mountains, building momentum as it descends to the valley floor. Light rain can quickly turn tranquil pools into rapids. While toads stay clear, the rushing water has the opposite effect on the garrafish. This is the opportunity they've been waiting for. They have a mysterious, instinctive drive to always explore upstream, driven by the need to expand their territory. They take whatever opportunity they can to forge into the current. This is how the species can recolonize areas where the previous inhabitants have perished. But this is not just fish swimming upriver. These fish undertake an epic climb. Their sucker mouths, which usually scrape algae from the rocks, become anchors, securing them against the fast-flowing water. A group inches its way up the rocks. The fish must stay within the splash zone in order to breathe, but stay out of the main flow to avoid being washed back downstream. The fish can travel up to 3 meters. For those that make it into new pools, there are fresh possibilities, food, and a new territory to colonize. The stress of the journey is also thought to trigger their spawning behavior, to make sure every new pool is quickly populated by the pioneers. Their sticky eggs will settle in the gravel to stop them washing back downstream. The rushing water is a mixed blessing. It creates opportunity for some, but a challenge for others. This endemic Oman carpet viper usually hides in crevices by the wadi pools, knowing they are a good place to hunt. But the sudden water flushes this one from its lair. He struggles against the current. Luckily, the water brings him to rest against the rocks, where he can climb in search of higher sanctuary. The sudden surge of water is short-lived. But it can claim victims. A goat lies dead at the water's edge. Perhaps it was trapped by floodwater or washed downstream. Its rotting body provides sustenance for insects. Their ability to complete their life cycles in just a few days means insects are quick to exploit fresh opportunities. Flesh-eating flies taste their food with their feet. They secrete enzyme-packed saliva from their mouthparts to break down the flesh, making it easier to consume. They also look for places to lay their eggs, where maggots can hatch and join in the feast. Wasps are better equipped to deal with the tough carcass. They have powerful shearing mouthparts to tear through flesh. Adult wasps are primarily plant eaters, but they will carry tiny mouthfuls of meat to their nests to feed hungry carnivorous grubs. Dragonflies are among the top predators of the wadi. Their compound eyes contain 10 times greater variation in proteins than human eyes, allowing them to see a far wider range of colors. Their image resolution gives them ultra-high-definition vision. They can collect and interpret 300 images per second, 6 times more than us. Their forewings flap 30 times a second, giving them incredible aerial agility. Like miniature helicopters, they can travel in any direction to outmaneuver prey. In turn, the insects are magnets for bird life. Like dragonflies, pale crag martins catch insects on the wing. These acrobatic members of the swallow family are attracted to the high rocky ledges and overhangs around the mountain wadi. Here, pairs of breeding residents build their nests using fresh mud from the valley below. Nests can take several weeks to construct, but the high-rise homes will protect their young from predators. One bird visitor does not need such high-level security. The nightjar is so well camouflaged that as long as it doesn't move, it is almost impossible to see. It too catches insects on the wing, but only at night. By day, it remains inactive, keeping a low profile on the ground, away from hungry eyes. There is little cover on the bare rock faces of the wadi, but it suits this predatory master of the skies. The Oman carpet viper, now recovered from its sudden swim, is one of the deadliest wadi residents. This 75-centimeter snake with unusually long fangs can inject deadly venom deep into its victims. It only inhabits the mountainous regions, especially near wadis, where it waits to ambush passing prey. A toad would make an ample meal for the predator, but only if it ventures into the strike zone. But it's not close enough today. While the flash flood is long gone, residual moisture hangs in the air. For the next few weeks after rain, the humidity and replenished surface water nurture rare plant life around the wadi. Out on the gravel plains, there is no sign of the water that drenched the rocks only days earlier. But scrubby plant life now sports fresh green growth. Mountain gazelles are quick to exploit the new moisture-rich vegetation. Like many desert specialists, these delicate antelope get most of their water from their plant diet. Out here, opportunities to drink fresh water are few and far between. As darkness descends over the wadi, an Arabian toad prepares to make the most of the night ahead. The toad is an opportunistic breeder. Rain often triggers spawning. This one is ready to find a mate. He needs to put on his best voice to serenade the females. His extending throat pouch amplifies his call, which echoes around the wadi. The bigger the croak, the better his chances will be. But he has competition. Soon there's a choir of toads, a chorus of single males, trying out their best chat-up lines. He spots a passing female and leapfrogs onto her back. He uses sticky pads on his front feet to try to attach himself. His love interest does her best to wriggle free. But there's a problem. She appears to be a he. In most toads, only males have the expandable throat sacs, which allow them to amplify their calls. It's not uncommon for male toads to jump on each other. Usually, a release call by the love interest thwarts the would-be suitor. But not this one. He holds tight, determined to attempt amplexus, the pairing that triggers spawning in externally fertilizing amphibians. Males can cling on to females for hours or even days, waiting for the moment when their partners deposit their eggs. When a female begins to lay, the male will release his sperm to fertilize the emerging eggs. But tonight his efforts will be futile. Eventually the male releases his grip and heads off to try again. As a new day dawns, the mountain wadi is eerily quiet. On the rocky slopes above, the tar's elaborate mating display seems to have finally paid off. The female has returned and now rarely leaves his side. The pair will stay together and raise their young here. With just a few thousand Arabian tar left in the world, the success of every breeding pair is vital to the future of the species. A few weeks following successful toad spawning, the temporary pools are packed with Arabian toad tadpoles. They now race to reach maturity, eating as much as they can to fuel their body's transformation. The more they eat, the sooner they will be able to complete their metamorphosis. Legs develop at the base of their tails, which begin to shrink. Their mouths turn from simple algae-sucking lips to insect-crushing jaws. Crucially, primitive internal lungs replace their external aquatic gills. Only those that complete the transformation will cope when the pools dry up. Any young garrafish that have matured in small temporary pools now face the greatest instinctive challenge of their young lives. They must clamber their way to permanent pools. In just a few weeks, the flow of water from the hills will cease completely, and most pools will shrink away. The wadi will retain some water, so as long as the fish reach this permanent sanctuary, they will survive. It's a long, hard struggle. Many fish are left high and almost dry. Unable to breathe in the air that envelops them, they gasp, trying to extract oxygen from the remaining moisture. Their powerful bodies catapult them as they attempt to find their way to another puddle. A handful of lucky fish wriggle their way to salvation. Enough to replenish the pool and ensure the future survival of the local population. In this harshest of environments, all animals live on a knife edge. The landscape can give and take away in an instant. For most, existence would be impossible without the tiny pockets of water cradled in the wadi. A miniature oasis in Arabia's Inferno. A lifeline in the desert.